Hello and welcome to Hands for Healing. I'm here with Nicki for week 5 of our fibromyalgia little experiment. Hello Nicki, how are you?
I'm okay, thanks.
Yeah. Well, when I called it week 5, it's actually been a little longer than a week. It's 12 since our last session.
Mm-hmm. So massive difference with my fatigue. I almost called in sick this morning to work because my fatigue has really kind of, I literally feel like a zombie. It's taking me up till about 1-2 o'clock in the afternoon to almost wake up.
Okay.
And it's not just tired, it's like I feel like I'm battling to just keep my eyes open. So
how many weeks have you been back at work after your annual leave now?
Week 2.
Okay.
So it doesn't normally set in quite, it's normally like this towards a Friday.
Yes.
But I don't know. It's harder this time round. But then I also don't know because the weather's been so unsettled. I find it affects my mood quite a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Changes in air pressure and heat and cool and even the wind can make a big...
Yeah, we've had plenty of that.
Okay, have there been any other changes that you've noticed?
My mood. I'm vile to be around at the moment, to be honest. The past sort of since again Monday-ish, I feel like I keep saying I'm just going to go now before I say something, because it's not you, it genuinely is me. I'm just being really grouchy. I'm really quite not very nice at the moment, so I keep having to take myself away because I know it's me, it's not anything anybody else is saying. So yeah, but my mood is horrible, absolutely horrible.
Oh dear. Oh, I'm glad I live here then and not with... Oh dear. Okay, shall we have a look at your scores then and see how those are? What's the pain like in your hip, in both hips?
Again, it's not so bad on the left at the moment. I can feel it, but the right one again, especially today, I don't know why, but it's almost running along where my sciatic nerve is, and so you lower back into your hip.
Yeah,
that has been... I've got a new chair at work, but even with that, I've been having to kind of like move and things to try and get comfortable. So yeah, that's quite sore at the moment.
What score would you give it?
Probably a 6. It's not as bad as it was, but it's still quite bad.
And the left one then, if that's better, what's that?
That's probably about a 4.
Okay. Right. Your lower back?
That's probably about a 5. It's almost smack in the middle at the moment. It's been better, but it's not the worst it's been either. So it again, I'd probably go with a 5.
Okay. Your shoulders?
6. They're a bit almost... It's almost like a burning pain. It's you know, like when something's been numb for a long time, and then as the feeling comes back into it burns.
Yes.
That I'm getting that right down the middle of like my shoulder blades, almost in between my spine and my shoulder blade, on both sides, which is quite sore.
All right. Your hands?
Hands are stiffer this week, and I've also found that I almost have like I don't know, almost like I can't hold on for something. I was writing something earlier and I had to stop because my hand just felt like it just needed to just flop. It was really weird. So not so much a pain side, but like I don't know, like a dexterity thing. So that's probably again maybe a 4-5.
Okay. Right. Your wrists?
Wrists are actually okay. As in, again, we'll go with like a 2 because it's almost like the numbness it's not numbness, but that kind of heaviness is going up to the forearms. So
all right. Your feet?
Feet are absolutely fine. They are zero, absolutely
Okay.
fine at the moment.
And your ankles?
Again, absolutely fine.
Okay. Are you more sensitive to pain at the moment or not?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. And your fatigue, last time you put it at 6 to 7. What would you say it is now?
I'd probably go up to at least an eight, if not nine, because I am at that point where I feel like I need to drop.
Okay. How have you been sleeping?
Not well. I've been waking up. So I've had, again, it's those, I've had a couple of nights where I've just been like dead to the world, absolutely zonked. But then the more nights I've had the ones where I'm like, if I've got up to go to the loo in the middle of the night, I'll go back to bed. Normally, I've been able to drop straight back off, but I feel as though I'm awake. I feel like it's hours and hours because I try not to look at the clock. I always just close my eyes and just kind of hope. But it feels like hours and hours and hours until I'm kind of watching like daylight come through my room and I'm just like, no, just please sleep. So it's been more often than that. It's like getting to sleep is not a problem. It's staying asleep that's the issue.
Okay, so staying asleep. What's your concentration been like?
Um, I'm kind of tunnel visioned at the moment. Again, it's almost like with my mood. I find the worse my concentration gets. So, you know, as a working mum, you've got a lot of balls that you're juggling. I don't seem to be able to juggle at the moment. I have to literally focus everything on one thing. If anything comes in to try and distract me, that's it. You just get shouted at.
Okay, let's write all this down. Your memory and your speech, how have they been?
Speech hasn't been very good. It's actually been quite bad at work.
Yeah.
So I'm on the phones more so than I have been recently, and I'm talking almost all day. And I've noticed when I'm talking to customers that it's having an impact, or I'm sitting there and I can't think of words, and then I'm almost dragging my words out to almost hope that it'll come into my head, or I'm having to change a whole sentence for it to make sense and tripping over myself a lot. So that, again, that's been noticeably different at the moment.
Okay. Will that work? How have your headaches been?
Not so bad, actually. I've had a couple, but they're just normal, not like the really, really bad ones that I did have. They're just like a normal,
Okay, normal headaches.
everyday one. Yeah.
IBS?
Still not great. But it's doing the whole thing where it starts one end and then goes the other. So I go literally one extreme to the other, and I never quite know which one it's going to be. But it's more so the pain at the moment, because I get the pain
Yeah.
almost under my, I was just trying to think right or left then, under my right rib cage, and then it travels right across underneath, and then I get almost like a shooting pain. So it doesn't last very long, but it's really sharp, and I get that, and then all of a sudden it'll just go, but it'll come on and then it'll go, and there's no, again, no warning of it.
Okay. How has your grip been?
Not great. Again, it's odd. It's not painful as it's almost like you've been doing something, like almost like a repetitive thing, where you've been doing something a lot, or like when you've tried to clench your fists and then you almost try and pull them apart, and you can't quite do it and it doesn't feel right. That's what they feel like. It's really weird, but that's just normal. But again, I'm, still doing everything that I need to do. I'm just taking my time.
And how have your eyes been and your vision?
Eyes have been really sore recently, but not in a, again, it's not like that's really painful. Almost like that dry kind of they just almost don't feel wet enough. Is that it's that tiredness thing where it's almost like really grainy and
Yeah.
sore. So,
Okay.
but I've been wearing my glasses more so because I just, yeah, I just can't really see without them at the moment. So I've been wearing them more in the house as well, whereas normally I would just wear them while I'm driving, just while I'm at work, and then kind of give them a break, but I'm having to wear them at home a bit more.
Okay. How are your anxiety levels?
Um, okay, they're not so bad at the moment. It's again, it's that whole, I feel like I'm more angry than anxious,
Yeah.
and I'm assuming they're more than likely linked, but I've not been getting the palpitations. I've not been getting the. I've almost, instead of getting worried about something, I'm getting really cross about it instead, even though it's no need for either of those feelings, but that I'm reacting that way instead of the anxious way.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. After the last session, how long
mhm.
did really good effects last for?
Just trying to think, what are we on? I actually felt really good all of last week. So I did get tired towards the end of Friday, but all of last week, even like I had other people commenting saying about the fact that like my walking was better and things like that because they'd not seen it. I did have one of those weird shaky episodes on Sunday, but not nowhere near the extent. But I was sat in my own kitchen when it started to happen. But it's been noticeably better last week. Whereas I walked into work this morning and one of the girls went, "Are you okay?" And I'll say it nicely, but "You look really bad." That isn't quite as politely as she said it to me, but you can imagine. But that's what
Sets you
she
up for
said
the
as,
day.
yeah, exactly. And I was like, "Oh, thanks." Starting 8 o'clock in the morning. But yeah, so that was, it's funny the difference when you have someone saying such kind of nice things the one week about that they've noticed,
Yes.
and then going into day and getting told that. So yeah, there's been a noticeable difference by other people as well.
Okay. When we spoke last time, you talked about the fact that you went on a bike ride and you
Mm-hmm.
a walk. Have you done any more of those things?
No, no. Last week, only because I was on a late shift last week, so most of the morning I was at home and I was doing a lot of like CBD baths and things, like just relaxing before I went into work. And
Yeah.
then as soon as I came home, I went to bed. So there was just no time at all. But I've not done anything this week at
Okay.
all, actually, thinking about it. No, on Wednesday, no, nothing.
And on the whole, if you compare when you've got daytime shifts as opposed to late shifts, does that make a difference to your fibromyalgia?
Do you know, I hadn't thought about it, but only on a comparison to last week to this week, because last week I was on 12/8, so I had all the morning to kind of get ready, whereas this week I'm on 8/4s.
Yeah.
So I'm up at 6. This week I just can't feel like I'm awake. It just, nothing feels like, whereas last week I felt much better and
Okay.
I was not angry last week at all. But yeah, there's a noticeable difference between the two. But then I also find that on the late shifts I seem to get more done. I don't know if it's because it's almost like you've got to get this done, then you're at work, and then I know I can go to bed.
Yeah.
Whereas that's my day, is I live to go to bed, which is ridiculous. But
So when you say you're more effective on late shifts, do you mean
mm,
you're more done at home or more done at work? Or both?
in general, both,
Yeah.
just in life, really. I just feel that little bit. I don't know if it's more motivated, or it's just, I just find it easier because I know it's like nothing's going to be asked of me, I think, when I get home, because it's
Yeah.
8 o'clock, it's bedtime. Well, not bedtime, but it's that winding down time.
Yes.
Everyone's quiet, they've all eaten. I don't have to think or do anything other than just sit down and be and talk to the kids and things. So whereas on the 4, I know I'll come in, it'll be, "Oh, I've done this, can you do that, can you do this, can you do that, oh yeah, we need to do tea, we need to do that." And it's almost that I can't cope with it because it's just too much.
Okay. That'll be interesting to see see the differences then and see how that carries on between late and early shifts, and what difference it does make longer term.
Well, I'm on next week. I'm on like a middly shift, so I'm on 9. I think it's 9:30, 5 or 9:30, one or the other. So it's almost in the middle. So it's like a little bit later. But I'll keep an eye on it. Now you've mentioned it, I'll keep an eye on it. I might just ask the guys at work as well and just see what they have noticed of me, because we're all in a group, not group, but we're all quite close within the desks, so they will see me and speak to me for 8 hours in the day. So it'd be interesting. I'll ask them tomorrow.
Yeah. Are you rated on efficiency and performance and sort of on a daily basis?
Yeah, actually, we so we have our stats, which we're monitored on. I think it's 9 or 10 different stats, which all have to be done within a 9-minute call. And so it's how long you're on the call, how long it takes you to type up the notes, whether you've done everything efficiently within that call, because you've got all these lists of things that you need to get done, but it needs to be a natural conversation. So you've got all of these things, and then these things that you have to do as well. But yeah, so, and I'm the one that actually looks at those, so I could certainly compare last week to this week. That wouldn't be an issue.
No, that might be worth doing. It might be just interesting for yourself to see where you function better and how that can impact on your life.
Oh, that's a good idea, actually. I will certainly look into that.
Just occasionally, I have them. Okay, are we ready for the session now?
Yes, I have my timer ready. I guarantee you I will fall asleep today.
Okay, we'll pause the recording and then we'll rejoin after our half hour. Oops, let me find the bit on the screen.